Hello. Right, I've had a break. Let's wait for some people to turn up on the stream. Who is going to turn up? Text Dean. I'm a little bit earlier than I said. I said I'd take an hour, but I only needed a half hour or so. Drink and a piss. Now we've got a few people on. Say hello if you're out there. Hello everyone who is watching. Who's there? Ah, cool. Right, okay, well, in the last stream we were looking at the song Smokescreen, which I did with the Dean Howard Band back in 2004, and it featured Ian Gillan from Deep Purple on guest vocals. And yeah, it's a lovely song. We went to Ian's house to record it. In the last stream I showed some pictures, which I'll show again a couple of. There's me in the studio doing some keyboards. This is us at Ian's house. There's Ian Gillan there. There's me looking very fresh-faced and young at 24 years old. There's Andres there, a little bit older, and Dean, I believe Dean was 42. And then we got a picture here with Ian, and that was backstage in Birmingham, I believe, and we'd signed a copy of the album for him, and this is him signing John Paul's guitar. So yeah, I skipped through some of these photos. There's some guitars, the drums, me in the studio, Russell the bass player, Dean there with his 5150 head, Dean looking very chilled out, Dean playing the Telecaster that I played in this song, and there's me back in the studio. But another thing that I want to review from the first video is, come back to this bit here, is this here. I filmed this on my phone from the corner of the last stream, and it was too hilarious not to play. When I was doing one of the playbacks, I walked past and almost fell over, so let's laugh at me for a minute. And again. And again. Wasn't that hilarious? Right. Let's have a listen through to where we're at with the song. What I might do actually is recap. I'm going to sort of cleanse my ears. I'm going to listen through to the original mix from 2004, just to hear what it's like, and then we can listen to where I've got to when we got to the end of the last video. So here goes.
Take away my
Okay, well, that was the mix from 2004. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Tim. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Tim. Hello to everyone else who is watching. It's sort of people come and go. I'm still a little bit early. I did say I'd come back at 5. I think some people like Dean probably disappeared off in the garden. He'll be back online in a minute. Right, let's have a look. Where was I? So let's listen through to where I got to. I hadn't got to put in the vocals or the Hammond in, but the guitars are all pretty much in, and the drums and the bass. Hello, Chris. Hello, Dean. You're back. Chris Curley. Haven't spoken to you in ages. So at any point now, I can just solo this and go between the original 2004 mix and the now mix. So this is what it was. And that's what it is now. So it's got a lot more low end on it. And that guitar's a lot scratchier on the original mix. And again, those guitars of Dean's were really scratchy on the original one. And I've pulled a lot of that out with the Q10. I'll probably bring them up a bit now. I know it's got all the instruments in the other one, but it just sounds really harsh now when I listen back to it. Oh, is Anne there as well? Hello, Anne, if you're back. Right, so next thing I'm going to put in is the Hammond. I'm going to probably come back and start tweaking other instruments in the mix, particularly those lead guitars. And there's some stuff going on with the guitars at the end that needs some interesting things doing to them. Let's have a listen to the Hammond. Again, very scratchy in the top end. So let's get rid of some of that. Oh, it's all that. Oh, look at that. Some real whistly stuff. So this is my friend John Paul playing the Hammond on this. and it's a software instrument. I did try and find the original MIDI. I wanted to get the original MIDI so that I could run it through newer Hammond software, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So all I've got is this file, which is the original plugin that we used. I don't know which one it was. Well said, Andres. Well said, mate. So I'm going to do this middle wide cue to get a mid boost in sweep. It's harsh. Still something at the top end that's really annoying me. Oh wow, listen to that. It's horrible. Now I've pushed all that bottom end up. Follow my rule number 1. I've got a list of rules here. I made them. Can't find them at the moment. That's a list of songs I'm working on. Anyway, I had a list of rules, and my number 1 rule was always to high pass. So where I've pulled up all this bottom end, got a high pass. Right, the thing I'm missing from this is it sounding like it's in a room. It's a real Hammond in a room. So I'm going to try a few things. I've no idea how they're going to work. So the first thing I'm going to try is I'm going to see if I've got a Leslie. I've got TR5 Leslie here, so let me run that over it. So if I put, although it's already got a Leslie simulator on it, it doesn't really sound like a Leslie. I mean, that could be a DI'd Hammond, but with some sort of synth rotary on it. So if I run it through another Leslie plugin, let's see what this sounds like. It might sound awful. Let's see. Okay, right. I mean, that's sounding a lot better. I'm going to change it to 147 just because that's the one that I've played through most in my life. And I love the sound of a 147. See, that's another thing. I don't know why I'm adjusting the speed there. That's another thing. When you're dealing with Hammond sounds, actually most of the sound on a Hammond is coming from the Leslie. You can put a reasonable synth through a real old Leslie, and the Leslie does the work, you know. The Leslie, in my opinion, is more important than the Hammond. I've already high passed that. Be rude not to use their EQ, seeing as it's built in. We had some air at the top end. We get a little bit of compression on it. I want a bit of higher attack, so you still get the percussiveness. Auto release. So this is what we started with. I'm going to turn all that off. This is what we started with. And now this is what we've got. Which to me sounds much more like a Leslie. I'm going to put another EQ over the end. Now we've put all the new Leslie on. And I'm going to do a real wide Q mid boost. And sweep around. You hear all that rumbling going on down there. I need to get rid of that. It just sounds so much more like a Hammond now. There's still some stuff in the top that I'll get rid of. All that 7-8K, that's where the air is. See, none of that came out on the original. Listen to how beautiful that Hammond is there. And you go back to the original mix, and it's just not there. And I think I just thought it's a shit sound and I gave up on it and just turned it down in the mix. But I didn't have the tools or the knowledge that I have now. Okay, I'm going to do some work on the snare drum. Still a bit thin for me. So I'm going to do some triggering. We're going to turn this into a MIDI track. So I'm going to double click on it there and go to hit points. And I've got the threshold here where you do that and then it selects what I want to turn into a MIDI note. So, yeah, that's my cursor. I want that out of the way. So, I'm getting hi-hats if I have it too low. So, that seems reasonable for now. there'll be some flams that it won't get, but I'm only going to mix it in underneath the original snare, so if it's not perfect, it's not that important. What's that there? Is that a... No, it's just a random hit of something else. That's not a snare. So that seems like it's got all the snares. So I'm going to create MIDI notes. I'm going to click here and say create MIDI notes, and I get this window come up here. Dynamic velocity. I'm going to have them all on D1, and I want them to be very short. I'm going to say a new MIDI track for now, and I should have at the bottom of the project now MIDI 1, but of course there's no snare drum. Why is that? Did I do something wrong? Create MIDI notes, new MIDI track. Try that, see if that works. Ah yes, I seem to have a MIDI track now, so don't know what was going on there. Maybe that's a bug in the software, or I'm doing something wrong. I really haven't got time to worry about it. Got it to work a different way. So let's see if these all kind of line up. They do line up, so I've got some snare drum. And that's the map of how hard he hits the snare throughout the song. So let's put some, let me create an instrument track, and I'm going to use the Modo drum. Shout out to Dave Kersner for getting me all the good stuff from IK Multimedia. It's slow to load, but it sounds great. Oh, that's the rim click I was missing the other day. Ah. Let's have a look for some other ones. No, don't like that. No. I'm just... Maybe you want to come in on this, Andrews. What's a rock custom? Oh, that sounds like a biscuit tin. No, I'm going to go back to that original one. That's jazzy. Oh dear. Yeah, I'll stick with that for a minute and I'll do some work on it. I'm going to go to the mixer. I'm not interested in the room and stuff from it at the moment, and the ring from the virtual toms. I'm just going to take all of that down and all the effects off it as well. I literally just want it to be... I turn off all of these... So I just want that there. And if I drop that MIDI track onto there, I turn the velocity up. And now I'm going to treat it like I would if it was a real snare mic. So I'm going to try the Trans X on it. Oh, this needs to be it needs to be stereo because it's a stereo. I'm going to load their more snares. Sorry. I didn't mean more snares, I meant more stick. Right, so I'm getting some nice thwack off that now. I'm going to put a Q10 after it. Take out some of the harshness. Low pass. So this is the snare its own. Check the phasing. Sounds a little bit better out of phase to me. Yes, Anders, I'm just blending it. Let me get the SSL channel over it, same as I did the other one. I'll put the I'm just going to leave it on the default settings. It's not that I want this snare to sound great, I just want it to put in what's missing from the other snare. Right, let me send this to the group now. I realise it's not going to the drum group. Let's go. Lovely. I think that sounds much better. Right, I'm going to put a little bit of reverb on these drums now. I'm going to go to the effects channel here. I'm going to add that. And I'm just going to get the R verb. And that will be in at the bottom. It'll put in reverbs and stuff at the bottom. So I want to bring this up with the drums, and I'm going to send it to the final drum group so the reverb gets compressed in with the final drums. I like doing that. I'm going to name this drum reverb, and here is the reverb. I'm going to go for the drum plate, which I love. Turn the pre-delay up. Rule number 2. Pre-delay. I don't know whether it's rule number 2. 100% wet on that, but yeah, pre-delay, amazing. Got to use it on everything, even just a little bit. So if I solo the final drums, I can start sending some instruments to it. So I'm going to send this triggered snare to it. Oh yeah. I'll send a little bit of the top end to it, but I don't want the hi-hat to go crazy. A little bit on the toms. I'll just put a touch on the toms. Come on. Oh yeah, that's better. Well, right, in those overheads when he's playing the hi-hat heavy, I'm just getting this shh, and it's annoying me. And I can try and EQ it out just a little bit, but I might use a de-esser. Oh, there's a horrible ring. Oh, I've already gotten that one. A wider cue. There's something pokey there. But that wasn't what I was looking for. Trying to tune it in, I can hear the pitch of them. It's a range of frequencies, but oh yeah, that's just taking it out nicely. Right, I'm now going to try a de-esser. There we go, stereo de-esser. And I'm just going to get a notch at around the same kind of frequency. In fact, I'm going to listen to the frequency on there. Actually, that's really where the that's too much when the cymbals come in. No, it's not doing what I want it to do. Right, abandon that idea. Multi-band compressor. Let's see what it sounds like in the mix now. I've done this bit of a dip here. Ah, it's coming through the first tom mic. No wonder. Right, you need a gate or an expander. Much prefer using an expander, to be honest, because you can sort of take the background noise down a bit without completely killing it. It just sounds a bit more realistic. Where does he hit the little tom? Yeah, that's definitely an SM58. I can just hear that SM58-ness about it. Oh, that's not actually that tom. That's picking up the tom next to it. So where does he play the first tom? Oh, it's here. Right, so that's where I'm going to set my threshold. Right, so that's... trying to make it tight but breathe enough so it's a little... Without it though, go back to where that hi-hat was. Oh, without it. Now that's just pulled it down. Turn the ratio up a bit and that's going to get rid of it. I mean, it sounds a bit weird on its own because it's kind of pumping a little bit underneath with the expander, but it kind of adds a sloshiness to the hi-hat, and because it's never soloed, I don't have a problem with it. It's quite nice. Too much on the bass drum. Lovely. I'm going to add a reverb. In fact, it's not a reverb as such. It's the Room Machine. I love this plugin, and it's completely free. Some guy wrote it and gave it away, and I just love the sound of this plugin. Because I'm using it in an effects send, I'm going to turn the wet fully up and the dry fully down. But this just makes something sound like it's in the most beautiful room. I'm going to start with Dean's guitar there. I'm just going to check that I've put stuff to the right groups. No, Hammond needs to go to the music group. The harmonica probably as well needs to go to the music group. Not being organised. I've got all the guitars though going to the music group. That's perfect. Oh no, not that one. That needs to go to the music group too. And have its level boosted to compensate. These are all music group, yeah. So that reverb, that room verb that I've got there, I'll leave it down there because I'm not going to fiddle. But yeah, I want that to go to the music group as well. And we're going to see what that sounds like on Dean's opening lead guitar. I want it to feel like it's in a real room. Missing some of those snares, some of those in-between snare beats. They don't matter. The problem is that's not quite as soft as the other ones, so it stands out a bit more that it's not triggered. So I'm just going to bring that one down very, very slightly. Maybe up a touch. A little bit of EQ on this. Little bits of solos at the end. I want to see this bit of rhythm guitar here from Dean, actually. So that's got the room on it already. I need to take some more bottom end off my one. And there's some scratchy frequencies that I want to get rid of in Dean's and in mine. That's what I'm hearing, about 2. And here's my one. So that's all that low end there that I'm creating. I haven't got the scratchy top end though, it's just some low mid. Yes, Dean's is still painful at the top a little bit. How does that sound? Because that's a important. Okay. Maybe I just need to turn it up a bit. Even more. What's going on there that's not? Maybe I just need to turn it up. Maybe I just turn the original snare up and that one up. Yeah, it's missing the crack from the original snare because it's a lot quieter. Maybe that's it. Oh yeah, that's all right. Right, let's start on the vocals. The bit everyone's been waiting for. The reason this song is more special than some of the other songs I mix. Because the vocals are done by the singer of Deep Purple, Ian Gillan. So let's have a listen through to his lead vocals in solo. It's a double lead vocal.
It's been so long since yesterday. and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can.
Well, that was a little in there that I'd never noticed before. That's getting trimmed out. So these are clearly compressed already. I've compressed and EQ'd these probably on whatever preamp I was using, the Joe Meek. I think it was a Joe Meek. So yeah, I'm not going to have to take out loads of bottom end and add loads of initial compression, but I will be adding some more.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be...
And just so all of these work together, I'm going to link these channels. So whatever EQ and compression I do on them will carry across to all the other channels. At least that'll give me a starting point, you know. If I choose to change something later, then I can change it as I see fit. So I'm going to link here. I'm not going to link the volumes. Actually, I will for now. But I do want to link sends, and I do want to link the inserts. So now, if I put something on his vocal there, we'll start with a Q10, even though I probably won't do huge amounts of EQ, it's just good to have it on there. That should now be on all of them, which it is, which is lovely. I'm going to start with the SSL mono compressor and see what happens here.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can. It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears. Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to eat, and the chains are gone. I'm on a one-way journey, and I'm running late. Burn down all my feelings. I've learned to hate. It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can.
Sorry about that.
It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears. Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to eat.
I mean, that was a great sounding mic, the Rode Classic, and the Joe Meek preamp. I remember that being lovely as well. I mean, it's a killer combination. I wasn't sitting there filtering it with, 10 parametric narrow Q, EQs or anything. It's just a very natural vocal from a good mic, and you can really hear the original compression on it as well.
It's been so long since yesterday.
And I'm going to put another compressor on it, so it'll have had 3, but they're all different characteristics. The SSL one is very transparent, but it does give a bit of a high mid boost, which is kind of what I cut from the EQ beforehand. But I love the CLA 2A. It just has a sound to it. It just makes things sound more psychedelic, in my opinion.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again.
Not too much, just 1 or 2 dB here or there.
Cherish every minute while you can.
Try and match the levels, so as I turn off the plug-in, it's still the same level, but...
And it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can.
Oh, that sounds nice. Okay. I'm going to boost something around the bottom, a little bit fundamental stuff.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can.
Well, there's a horrible ringing one there.
It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears. Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to eat. And the chains are gone. I'm on a one-way journey. It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can. It crossed my mind over the years.
Right, I'm going to make a group for these vocals. I'll make 2 groups actually. I'm going to bring them both up to the vocals. I'm going to call one of them Ian for obvious reasons, and the other I'm going to call all vocals. Ian is going to be sent to all vocals. All vocals is going to be sent to music. And then each of Ian's vocals here, I'm going to send to the Ian group. Even though we haven't got the backing vocals in yet, I'm just going to prepare and send them. So Ian, and Ian all go to Ian. And then Ian gets sent to all vocals, which gets sent to music. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to turn him back up on the channel, and then let's.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute.
Right, I like setting up a lot of my own effects and stuff, but I'm really going to cheat here. And I'm just going to try the CLA vocals plugin because it is just monstrous. It's one of the best plugins for vocals. I'm going to turn all the EQ stuff off and the compression for now, but I'm just going to use the reverb and delay from it because it just sounds amazing.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can. It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears. Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to.
Right, I'm just going to use a little bit of the compression, a little bit of the slap. I'm going to not use the reverb from that. I wasn't enjoying that on this vocal. So I'm going to go back to my standard R-verb that I like so much and get up a plate, vocal plate. Start with that, push the pre-delay a bit more. Give it just 5% for now.
It's been so long since yesterday.
Bring that time down to about 1.5.
And it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a limiter,
Cross my mind over
an L2 limiter over all the vocals.
Spend more time hidden by my feet.
And I'm going to turn off the dithering and the shaping because this isn't the final output. So, and this is basically taking the vocals and the delay and the reverb, and it's just squashing them together in a group.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again.
pick which one of those I prefer the sound of as lead, and I'm going to bring one underneath it so it's not so doubled.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can.
I think the first take's got a bit more passion in it. I think I'd already done this before on the last mix, which is why all the better stuff's in Ian Vox 1. So I'm going to bring down Ian Vox 2. Of course, they're linked. Right, let me take all this linking off. The linking was useful at one point, but no longer. I want to edit the link group settings, and I want to turn off the volume so I can still mess around with the volume or mess around with the EQs and stuff, and that will copy over.
It's been so long, and it will be some time again.
Oh, there's still some kind of linking going on between them. Edit link group settings. Did I press cancel by mistake? Am I that kind of dickhead? I think I am. Right.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can.
That sounds better.
It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears. Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to eat. And the chains are
Right, we got these backing vocals here as well, where he goes.
I'm on a one-way journey.
I'm going to pan them a bit.
I'm on a one-way journey.
And I'm going to turn them up full for the moment and bring them back a bit.
I'm on a one-way journey.
Okay, so I'm going to 3.85. Let's try that. Come on. There we go. Hi, Jill. Right, now they're all kind of grouped together and done. I'm missing a bit of top end, so I'm just going to go to the whole group and just add a touch of top end on it. That sort of that 8K air.
Smokescreen shows the truth. Angry at the things once loved, trying to regain the trust. It comes back slowly. I'm on a one-way journey. I'm running late. Come down all my feelings. I've learned to hate. Smokescreen shows the truth. Angry at the things once loved, trying to regain the trust.
There's a real whistle coming through on that. I think it's where they're getting combined. Maybe it's one of these compressors. giving off its natural whistle.
Shows the truth. Angry at the things once loved, trying to regain the trust. And it comes back slowly. I'm on a one-way journey, and I'm running late. Found out all my feelings I've learned to hate. It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can. It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears. Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to eat. And the chains are gone. I'm on a one-way journey, and I'm running.
I just feel like I'm really screwing these up, to be honest. It's not. It's just there's something missing. I don't know what it is.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can. It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears. Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to eat. And the chains are gone. I'm on a one-way journey, and I'm running late. Burn down all my feelings.
Something horrible on that.
It's been so long since yesterday
Cool.
to eat, and the chains are gone. I'm on a one-way journey, and I'm running late. Burn down all my feelings I've learned to hate.
When I was listening to it earlier, and you know, without so much compression on it, those things were not coming out. But then suddenly the compressors bring all that out, and you've got to get rid of it. Otherwise, you can't use the compressors. And I love using the compressors. So
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can. It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears. Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to eat. And the chains are gone. I'm on a one-way journey, and I'm running
much better.
burn down all my feelings. I've learned to hate.
Right, let's ruin the whole mix by putting me in it, singing. So I did a load of oohs and ahs, which were on the demo, and I was hoping he was going to replace them, but he said he doesn't do oohs and ahs. So I did them, or I kept mine. Ahs, right. That's quite nice. I don't mind that he didn't do them. So I've got all my R's there going to a group. So I'm not going to bother to process them all individually. I'm going to see if I can do it as a group. So what parts have I got here? Some real top end stuff going on, so I'm going to pan them the furthest apart. Oh no, that's a high one as well. Right, so maybe I've got this wrong. I thought these were the bottom ones. Yep, so they're the low ones. So I'll pan them a little bit further in, and then these two here should be... Oh, okay, so I'm not following any rules in my harmonies at all. I'm just randomly whacking and whatever. So I'm going to pan them with the same disregard that I had with writing the part. Okay, so they're sounding a bit cleaner now. I want to try a tripler or a doubler. There's a waves one somewhere. I've got let's try this. Load one of their crappy presets, which are not that crappy. Double of 4 voices. Oh, I like the idea of 4 voices. Oh, of course, this is the double of 2 plugin. So if I put the double of 4 on, I can have 4 voices. Okay, that's nice. I like that. I'm just going to turn the gains down of the doubles a bit. So, okay. All right, let's send that to the main vocal, the all vocals, and I'm going to put a SSL DDL. SSL stereo compressor, just to touch of I use the CLA vocal plugin and just use that slap back off it. Nice to see some people watching along with me. Sorry, I'm not being that attentive to you. I'm just going through these backing vocals. On previous videos, I've kind of pre-mixed the song, so I've just been showing you what I'm doing, but actually on this one, I'm really mixing it. They need to come up a bit because I've low cut the EQ wise, so I'm going to turn these up a touch. I need to put a lot more space into them. They're just clouding everything. That was the original mix. Okay, I did a lot of messing around there. Quite surprised anyone's still watching, actually. Yeah, I just had to kind of lean back, get in a different position, shut my eyes and sweep up and down and kind of get to know the different frequency bands and which ones were contributing in certain parts and which ones were just not contributing at all. And the vocals are sounding a lot clearer now. I was at the point where I wanted to strip all the plugins off and start again. It just wasn't happening for me.
It's been so long since yesterday, and it will be some time again. Cherish every minute while you can.
I like that now.
It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears.
Sorry about that.
Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to eat. And the chains are gone. I'm always journey, and I'm running late. Burn down all my feelings. I've learned to hate. Yes, I've been hiding for a while. Need to realize now. Trap waits for all. Breathe the night.
Well, now all the instruments are in, so every now and again I'm going to click on there and just reference back to the original mix.
Yes, I've been hiding for a while. Need to realize now. Trap waits for all. Breathe the night for solitude. Smokescreen shows the truth. Angry at the things once loved. Trying to regain the trust. It comes back slowly.
So that hi-hat in the overheads is still annoying me, even though I got rid of it in the tom. That's just me over cranking the bloody treble on the way in. I'm thinking like a tape back in those days, thinking, oh, you got to whack up the treble because it's going to be taken off when it hits the tape. And of course, that's not the case with digital. But I was very much in that mode, setting it all up on the desk as if I was recording onto a tape. Yeah, that's much nicer.
It's been so long since yesterday.
This is what it was.
And it will be some time again.
And now,
Cherish every minute while you can. It crossed my mind over the years. Spend more time hidden by my fears. Back to living life through sleep. Take away my need to eat. And the chains are gone.
So what I haven't done yet is go through and do any automation where I want to turn certain things up and down, which I will do. But I don't know that tonight is the time. Okay, usually when I when I do one of these mix live stream videos, I usually start at the point that I'm at now, and I play you where we're up to, and Lorelei usually says it sounds good, and then I say it sounds really messy, and I'm now going to pick it apart and make it, glue together better, and I'm kind of at that stage now where I think individually, things are sounding nice. I've filtered out things that are sounding horrible. I've put compressors on stuff. I've got all the basics there. Things are grouped correctly. It's all set up and ready to mix. I mean, I've got things here like Dean's guitar at the end, which seem to poke through, but not in a way that I wanted to. It's not got the space. There's another guitar here where this guitar here needs to turn up. And these vocals here need to come down at this point, so I'd be automating the vocals. Let me just show you. So I'm going to automate these to just come down. I'm just going to draw 4 points in and select the inner 2 points and just bring them down slightly. So now there's 4 of them. I brought it down. And then what I'd do is put that on there and just bring this guitar up at this point here. But I'm not going to do all this now because I need to sit on it. Once you get to this point in the mix and it's kind of all the bits are there and everything's in good enough to listen to, then just spend the next day or so just listening to it every now and again, and maybe come back a week later and suddenly things that need to be turned up or things that are clashing with other things will be a lot more obvious. I just don't think that that I'm going to do all of this tonight and get it right. So yeah, I think we'll revisit this, but I think it's in very good shape. I'm going to do one more listen through right from the beginning, and I'm going to mute my mic while I do it. So here goes. Well, that's definitely getting there. Cheers, Roy, for saying defo getting there. I agree, it's definitely getting there. It's certainly not there yet to my ears, but it's moving in the right direction, and it's, in my opinion, a damn sight better than the original mix. This was the original mix. Yeah, it's getting there. It's just still got some of the messiness of the original mix, so I'm going to sort that in another video. I'm going to revisit it in a few days and basically start from the place that I usually start these live stream videos. Now, thanks to all the people who've stayed on the entire stream and kind of watched along. I very, very much appreciate it. I'm going to end with a little story of the recording session at Ian Gillan's house. We were down there, me, Dean, Andres, and Ricky. Ricky is Dean's son and now plays with me in the Australian Pink Floyd show. Bass player, singer, absolutely fantastic. But he was about 16 at the time, I think. And of course, Dean used to be in Ian's band. I didn't mention that at the beginning. Dean was in Tapau, and then he was in the Ian Gillan band, and then he was in Bad Company. And then me and him ended up doing this album together. And so Ricky had known Ian since he was a kid and not starstruck in the slightest. But obviously me and Andres are a little bit more starstruck by the whole event being at his house. And we were sitting there, we were drinking and smoking and, having a right old evening the night before the recording session. It was brilliant. And Ian's cat would come in. Ian had a cat. I'm assuming the cat's not still alive because it was 16 years ago. But anyway, the cat would come in, and Ricky loves cats. Anyone that follows Ricky on Facebook knows how much he loves cats. But the cat would come in and get up on Ricky's lap, and Ricky was there trying to push the cat away, and he'd kind of push it away, and it would go away, and it would come back. And after 3 or 4 times, Ian went, "Ricky, if you don't like cats, just push the cat away. Just get rid of the cat, or I'll go and duck it." And he went, "No, I like cats," in the way that Ricky does. And Ian's, "Well, what's the problem?" "Oh, no, it's nothing like that." Anyway, so night goes on, the cat comes back, sits back on Ricky's lap, and Ricky's kind of looking and pushing it away. And Ian goes, "Well, why don't we just get rid of the cat? What's wrong with it?" And he went, "No, it's got a shitty ass, that's why." and we were like, "What the fuck?" He said, "Yeah, your cat's got a shitty ass." He said, "Well, just push it away." Anyway, so the cat came back later on again. This was a half hour past, something like that. God knows, could be hours. Came back, and the cat got back on Ricky, and then Ricky was stroking it, and everything was fine. Ian said, "I thought you said my cat had a shitty ass." And Ricky went, No, I picked a bit off and sniffed it, and it weren't shit." And that was it. Ian was on the floor, hands and knees, crying his eyes out. I mean, we'd all had a smoke and a drink, but he was crying his eyes out. Ricky's there thinking, what's going on like that? The idea that you'd pick a bit of shit off a cat's ass and sniff it was, that was that. And if anything was going to break the ice, that was. So I did ask permission from Ricky to tell that story, and Ricky said, "Yeah, go for it." The boy has no shame at all. But I thought I'd leave you with that one there. So until next time, there'll be a part 3 on this at some point, but give it a few days. So until next time, thanks a lot for watching. Goodbye.